Hey, good evening, everyone. Hopefully, everyone can hear me pretty well. Just making sure the stream is set up and going here. Hasn't really shown up just yet, so going to make sure everything looks good. But we're getting set up here tonight, and we're going to go through some of the storm stuff that's going to be happening this weekend. Obviously, already the mountains have seen quite a bit of snow. A lot of the ski areas reporting over a foot. I think Loveland was around 17, 18 inches just today, and there's going to be more coming on the way for them. So great news if you're a skier. The tricky part is going to be getting up there. So again, sort of the format of this video is I don't really have a script. I'm just going to go through and kind of describe what I'm seeing and what is looking likely in the weather department, and hopefully that goes pretty well. YouTube's on a little bit of a delay tonight, so you guys will probably see this a little bit further behind from where I recorded it. So if you have questions or something, go and throw them in there, and I'll get to them as soon as possible. Let's see, what are we going to take a look at first here? Let's take a look at our watches and warnings. And as you can see, pretty colorful map we got this evening. Your pinks are your winter weather or winter storm warnings. Your purples are your winter weather advisories, and this blue down here for just south of the Palmer Divide into Colorado Springs and down south towards the Colorado border is a winter storm watch. So, you know, your pink areas are kind of your major impact areas as far as travel and as far as conditions. You can see it's not just a winter storm warning. There's an avalanche warning as well. There's an avalanche watch. There's winter storm warnings. There's all sorts of fun stuff. So we can look at some of the details. But basically, the mountains have already seen a foot of snow. They're going to see a lot more. And let's see here. My stream's not doing super well, but hopefully you can see me and hear me. But anyway, as you can see, a lot of these predictions are 8 to 16 inches more of snow for most of the areas in the mountains. Winds gusting to 45 miles an hour. So this runs through 11 p.m. Saturday night. So if you have travel plans up in any of these pink areas, it's a lot of the ski areas around the I-70 resorts, Vail, Frisco, Silverthorne, Breckenridge, up near Winter Park, Rocky Mountain National Park. If you're in any of those areas, travel conditions are going to be pretty nasty through late tomorrow night, maybe possibly even Sunday morning, because even when the snow stops, that wind is going to be going pretty good. Winter weather advisories towards the western slope. They're not going to pick up a ton of snow, but they are going to get enough that it makes the travel conditions a little tricky. And if you'll notice, a lot of that is up on the sort of the higher elevations there. So there we go. Sorry we're having some technical issues tonight. Hopefully it's coming in okay, but nobody's talking, so I don't know if anyone can hear me or not. Anyway, I'm going to keep going, and we'll see how this turns out. Sorry, internet connection's not great this evening. Anyway, we'll get back to it. Winter storm watch down here, 6 to 10 inches. You know, National Weather Service in Pueblo hasn't really pulled the trigger on that just yet as far as upgrading that. I think we're still kind of in wait and see mode to what that turns out to look like. So that's something we're keeping an eye on there. Let's take a look at some models because we like to do that. Let me get over to browser view here. And we'll take a look at those models. You know, all in all, folks, this is not going to be a super impressive storm by any means. And I'll show you what the models are thinking on terms of snowfall here. I'll zoom in a little bit. This is the Palmer Divide area. This is, holy cow. Wow. All right. I'm not sure what's going on with half my stuff tonight. My computer is not happy. But anyway, this is snowfall through Monday morning, and this is the Euro. Euro is definitely one of our more reliable models. So as you can see, you know, definitely zeroing in on the Palmer Divide for picking up more of the accumulating snow, but not heavy amounts by any means. You're looking at 2.5 inches here. You get out into Elbert County. You're looking at an inch or two out there. As you go further south, though, you can see the uptick in snow, especially over that part of the Palmer Divide, especially as you go towards the springs and off to the west of the springs. You've got some pretty hefty amounts. The purples are 6, 7, 8 inches just west of Colorado Springs, kind of more southwest of Colorado Springs. But Pikes Peak and the mountain ranges back behind there will do pretty well off the snow on this. Those are where the bias areas are. If you look at the GFS, you're seeing a similar pattern. You're not seeing quite as much snow in some areas, but again, kind of a lower resolution. It definitely has the heavier snowfall totals in those same areas. So very light along the Palmer Divide, extremely light into Denver and points north and northeast. A couple inches on the Palmer Divide, but the bulkier snow is going to be up in the mountains and the foothills, and then south of Colorado Springs, southwest and down, south towards Pueblo. I don't think Pueblo gets a ton out of this, but they'll get enough. Look at the Canadian, same thing. You're seeing, so as you can see, the models have some decent agreement. Canadian's got a little blob that happens up here north of DIA. Don't know if I put a lot of stock in that just because it's the Canadian, but it's interesting to look at just to see if it shows the same pattern as the other models. As you can see, same exact thing. Heavier snow up in the mountains and the foothills. You got a little blob here just kind of west of Colorado Springs, down in the Pikes Peak area and those mountains just to the west there. And relatively similar snowfall totals along the Palmer Divide here of, a couple inches tops. So nothing to write home about there. NAM 3K, this model's just come in range, and I'll show you the loop of this here in a minute. But basically, same thing, same pattern. This is high resolution, so you'll see, better resolution with the snowfall, but same exact thing. A couple inches over the Palmer Divide, maybe a little bit of heavier pockets just west towards the foothills, and then you've still got those blobs just south and west of Colorado Springs. So if you're not noticing the pattern here, the pattern is relatively light snowfall, especially for Denver and those points north and east. A couple inches of snow along the Palmer Divide, but obviously nothing to write home about. I don't consider 3.2 inches a lot of snow. And honestly, when you look at that area, Palmer Divide, I could say 3 to 6 inches is a good range for a lot of those areas. I think a lot of areas along the Palmer Divide will be in that 3 to 4 inch range rather than the 5 to 6. But you may have some very specific areas that could be in that 5 to 6 inch range. So 3 to 6 overall for Palmer Divide. As you get south here, Colorado Springs will get a couple inches. And then obviously as you go west, you're looking at 5 to 10 inches down there, and that's where a lot of that winter storm watch is right now. So that's what we're looking at. And when we look at the Euro ensembles, this is basically a run of 50 different models and an average of all 50 of those models and what they are looking at as far as snow. Here's Centennial Airport, 2 inches, nothing to write home about. If I go down to Monument Hill, which is closer to where I am, at this point, same thing, 2.5, 3 inches. So, our range for forecast right now is 3 to 6, 3 to 7 inches. That could end up being a little too high, but I think it covers a lot of the bases as far as the areas we're looking at. So let's go and step through this here real quick. I'll show you the loop. And this will give you an idea on some of the timing. Now, this is just one model, but it's relatively in line with the others. They each have their own kind of discrepancies as far as exactly what time it starts snowing and exactly what time it doesn't. But that's one thing to look at. So this is 6 o'clock tonight. This model runs every 6 hours, or 3 hours, I believe, is the NAM 3K. So we'll step through this. You'll notice right now in going to 9 o'clock and stuff, we've had a little bit of lull of snowfall in the mountains here, but it's definitely going to pick up. I can already see it on some of the cams picking up. But you'll notice that snow fills in pretty solid everywhere west of the Continental Divide, I-70 corridor up towards Grand County, Meeker, all these areas. That snow fills in tonight. So if you're planning on getting up early to go skiing tomorrow morning and thinking of driving up I-70, probably not going to be a super fun time. So here we are, we're going throughout the night. This is tomorrow morning at about 5 a.m., 6 a.m. So notice not a whole lot going on. You've got these little bands rolling through. So, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if you saw some snow showers in and around Denver in the morning. I don't think it's going to be anything to write home about, but it could happen. It could happen. You could get little spots of rain or snow. A lot of that's just energy blowing over the mountains. It's not going to be anything significant. So, You know, if you're talking to me in the morning and say, you know, at 7 or 8 o'clock, well, we only got an inch of snow on the ground, the storm's giant bust. It's not here yet. So I hear that a lot. Keep in mind, a lot of these snowfall totals are through Sunday evening or Monday morning. A lot of them are through Monday morning at this point. But notice we quiet down a little bit as we go through the morning hours and the lunchtime. Again, it's not going to be nearly as warm on Saturday as it was today. It's not going to be nearly warm at all. It's going to be a lot cooler along the Front Range. But again, you'll get those little shots of maybe snow or rain showers in the morning. Be kind of cloudy to partly cloudy during the day. Still may have some wind here and there, but notice the snow continues in the mountains, heavy at times. So again, winter storm warning is not a travel not recommended type of warning, and that goes all the way through late Saturday. And then you'll notice as we get in a little bit later on Saturday night, we get some more showers, spotty showers. This is 8 o'clock tomorrow night. So again, the time is not exact, but just look at morning, evening. We have a chance for showers here and there. They'll be spotty, won't amount to much. But then look what happens as we go into late Saturday night into Sunday morning. So here's about 2 a.m. Sunday morning. You can see we've got some more snowfall bands setting up. One thing we'll have to watch here is when you get snowfall banding, you can get very wildly different totals between one area and the next, depending on how long they sit there, depending on how intense they get, and where they form, which models cannot predict very well. But you can see it right here. You can see that forming. So as we go through today, here's about 6:30 in the morning on Sunday. Notice the snow's really beginning to fill in down to the south. You're getting band here. You're getting a little band up here. You're starting to see more action. And then notice as that fills in, by about mid-morning-ish, you're going to start to see better snow along the Palmer Divide and some of the foothills and stuff, and especially down towards the springs by mid-morning. And that just kind of continues through the day, on and off. Heavy here and there, but it's not going to be a widespread heavy snowfall event. But as you notice, it fills in pretty well throughout the day Sunday. And then as we go into the nighttime hours on Sunday, here we are at about 10 o'clock. You've got some scattered pockets here and there. The snowfall has ended for the most part in a lot of the mountain areas. A few spotty showers here and there. And then as we continue into Monday morning, again, little streaky snow showers. So not widespread snow into Monday morning, but, pockets here and there. And this is as far as the NAM 3K goes right now. So 5 in the morning, you still got some snow showers around on Monday morning. Right now, it doesn't look like it's going to be enough to really impact the morning commute too much, but we'll have to keep an eye and just see if any of these heavier showers set up and cause some slick roads. I guess it's possible, but not looking super likely right now. So that's where we're at. Let's take a look at, let's go back here one more time. I know a lot of people have been asking about the mountains. And if you're not aware, one great resource is cotrip.org. It's a great website that's got all your road conditions. It's got cameras. It's got all sorts of good stuff in there. So if you're planning on traveling or going somewhere and you want to see what it's like right this second, you can log into this website and you can pick it on the map and you can actually pull up like webcams and stuff of the road. So it's a pretty cool feature. Let me close a couple of these windows here. And what we're looking at right here is Berthoud Pass. So as you can see, they've gotten some good snow up there today. Roads are not in great conditions, but they look like they're plowed. Again, that snow is going to be picking up overnight though. So it doesn't look too bad right now. If you're trying to go skiing in the morning, you're leaving early, it's not going to be a super fun drive. Keep that in mind. The other thing to mention is if you are going up to the Eisenhower Tunnel and you're planning on going through there, Loveland Pass is closed. They're letting all the hazardous material trucks through at the top of the hour, which means you're going to get delays going through the Eisenhower Tunnel. And the cool thing is they have video cameras too. So sometimes these work, sometimes they don't. But here's a picture of this is right by the Eisenhower Tunnel, and you can see traffic's moving. Roads look pretty snow-packed, so they've been plowed, but man, you're definitely you're noticing snowpack on the road there. All right. So anyway, that's kind of where I'll leave it tonight. I'm going to make a post probably with some of this information, so there'll be another post coming up on my website probably tomorrow morning because nothing's really changed tonight as far as the overall forecast. But it's something we'll be keeping an eye on. As you know, these things can change, but this storm looks pretty cut and dry. We don't tend to get huge snowfall events off of storms that come due out of the west like this. The mountains do really well. Front Range doesn't tend to do well. Palmer Divide doesn't tend to do well. So if you're looking for, feet of snow down here, probably not going to happen. You get a couple inches, especially along the Palmer Divide. You get a few more inches going south towards the Springs, especially southwest. So keep that in mind when you're driving. Timing, again, Sunday is the day. Sunday is probably going to be your best chance for snow that could impact the roads. And, if you want to pick an area where it has the highest chance of any impact, it's really south of Denver down to about Colorado Springs. Obviously, the mountains are still going to be bad, but for us down here, that's sort of what we're looking at. So if you have travel plans, just keep that in mind. We're not anticipating huge impacts out of the storm, but as you know, if you get stuck under one of those heavier snow bands, you could get some slick roads here and there, and all it takes is a couple crashes to make things kind of ugly. So hope you enjoyed it. Sorry about the technical issues tonight. The internet works well sometimes out here, sometimes it doesn't. I'm in a rural area, so we do the best I can. But if you have any additional questions, be sure to post those on Facebook or visit my website. I read those all the time. I try to answer back as much as I can, but 9-to-5 job keeps me busy sometimes. So anyway, hope everyone has a good night. Stay warm, stay safe, and we'll talk to you again soon. Have a good one.